Hello.
Hey.
Welcome back to the channel. Today's topic is a question we get asked a lot. Letting go personal items to move abroad. And it can be very hard to let go items that mean a lot to a person. So we're just going to start by ways that possibly can help you let go of these items to move abroad. One of the things that Steve did to me, or did for me.
Thank you. You gonna do this?
Did for me was he created a digital photo album. And he took pictures of things that I felt that was dear to me, that I felt like I wanted to bring with me. And he was like, no, that's too many items that I want to bring. So he went around the house and took photos and of things that I really had a hard time letting go. So he purchased it was a digital photo.
Oh, you mean the digital picture frame?
Picture frame.
Right.
Like moments I spent with our grandkids, things we did together, or things like little trinkets that I had, and I was like, oh, I can't let this go. Yeah, so you can do a digital photo frame. You can create a scrapbook. Let's say if you have little trinkets or little items you had from your child when they was a baby that you feel like, I'm not letting this go, create a scrapbook so you can still have those memories. You can bring that with you.
Because your kids don't want it.
Yeah. Things that are dear to us may not be the same importance to your kids.
As part of that, what you was talking about with the digital picture frame, one thing that you can do in that regard is to, purchase something inexpensive like Apple iCloud or Google One, where you get a lot more storage. And that stuff kind of stays in the cloud. You can download it to any device you want. And you get to keep it forever. You can make multiple accounts. Even just regular Google accounts, you get like 15 gigs for free.
Yeah, keep in mind, you may want to do that now because eventually Google may start charging.
Yeah, they might start charging for that free stuff.
Because we starting to see a lot of things change from being free to now costing.
Like Google Voice.
A monthly cost, yeah.
It's not a monthly cost, but I think they charge you to like transfer your number over now. And they used to be free. That is part of that whole scrapbooking thing. We want to create multiple accounts, for your kids or your grandkids, so you just kind of dump some pictures in there that you don't have to always keep on the phone, especially if you're worried about losing your phone or something like that, or a computer or a hard drive, crashes on you and you have to lose your photos. So like find some kind of digital cloud service. Sometimes this cloud stuff is actually useful. So, find some cloud service to store a lot of photos and stuff on.
And when you're going through some of your things in your home, and just say, like I had a sewing machine. I had everything, honestly. And you want to bring that stuff, but you're limited to how many suitcases you can bring or boxes, because I've seen people bring ship boxes to wherever they're going. You can purchase those items in the country you're moving to.
Most likely.
Most likely. Now, depending on how much they cost, can vary.
And the brands.
We were looking at some sewing machines yesterday.
Yeah, it was yesterday. We were just standing waiting on the train.
And I just want to see how much the sewing machine cost. They were a little...
They were high.
They were more expensive than something I wish to buy. In the U.S., for instance, I got a Singer machine. It doesn't have all the whistles and bells. I just needed to sew what I need to sew. And I pay about $90, under $100 for it. And I brought it with me in my suitcase. That same sewing machine here cost $260 some.
Right. And the one you got was kind of I remember when you bought it specifically because it kind of had all the features you needed, and it was somewhat compact.
Somewhat compact.
Yeah.
It wasn't the smaller brand. It was like the middle.
It was like a full size one, but it was
Yeah.
still like
Compact. And like I said, I got it for under $100 in the US, and I brought it from the US. Here, it was like $200 some, and I was surprised to see that. Now there are let me see, they have Jacome.
Gencome. It was like it's a Japanese brand.
And Singer, and I think they have Brother. They have some other brands. Now, the most I saw was almost $400.
No, one of those Gencome ones was $450.
So yes, one of the Jacome brands was rather, in my eyes, expensive for a sewing machine.
Not just your eyes.
Now, I don't know what that sewing machine offered. I don't know if it did embroidery or just regular stitching, but it was more expensive than something I wanted to purchase. So you can purchase a sewing machine here. You can purchase blenders, mixers, and we've said before, like a KitchenAid mixer here is higher than what a KitchenAid will cost in the US. I've seen from $500 and up. And I know in the US, a KitchenAid can run about $299, about $300. I think that's the basic brand. And if you want the professional, it can get a little higher, like $3 something. I love KitchenAid. However, if I want one, I will probably purchase it in the US and bring it with me.
Yeah. Now, can I want to say something real quick about, sewing machine was something that was important to LaShawn to bring with her. And we didn't know that at the time. I don't think we even knew that they were that much more expensive here. You just wanted to have one with you, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
Okay. So this happens with a lot of different items. It's not just items that are imported from the United States. It can be imported from other areas. I want to say China has like a lower tariff or something, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be, cheap. For example, video game consoles here, they're about 75% more than what you'll pay in the US. Mm-hmm. Which isn't that uncommon if you go to other countries. Like Brazil pays like the same kind of tariff or whatever on video game consoles. A PS5 here is going to cost you like a base model one, and most of them come with games here. It's going to cost you like $800. And it's like $500 in the US. Just know that like those things, like I knew the electronics were kind of expensive, so I was like, oh no, I want to make sure I bring mine with me, as opposed to purchasing one here. All those items are available, so it's not just like sewing machines and stuff. It's things that are imported from Japan or whatever. They're expensive too.
Now I know a Vitamix. I have not seen a Vitamix here. Not saying it's not here. It could be in like keto or.
Yeah, we haven't seen any in the stores we've been in. We haven't seen.
No, so if that is something that is important to you, I would suggest you bring it with you, or figure out how you can get it here.
Right.
There is a mule system, as well as part of a way to ship stuff to you. You can use the mule system, and I don't know how that works. We have not used a mule system. There are several people who do use the mule system, and they can get some items here versus having it shipped through Amazon, Tendemia, and
DHL.
Yeah. And I think it's less expensive.
Yeah, it's one of those things where like we can't really speak for or against it, because we don't really do it. We don't do it.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there are advantages to it, but there are certainly disadvantages, because if you use a mule service that isn't like an official delivery service, you're relying on people to bring that stuff, via airplane, with them, and you never know what's going to happen. I don't know what kind of guarantees you get with those services or whatever. So that's why we just choose not to do it.
You can look. You can do your research and see if it's beneficial. I haven't heard any negative things from people that we work with that are our friends. Yeah. But that is an option. Back to other means of, if you want to bring certain things that are very important to you, you can use a shipping container. Contemplate on what are you bringing when you want to use a shipping company? Now, if you're moving to an empty condo or an empty house and you're bringing furniture, then I would say yes, it can be beneficial.
Especially with furniture and appliances and all that.
Yes. Yeah. The cost of these shipping containers vary. We did not do that. That is something that is an option for you, and it can cost anywhere $1,000 and up, depending on how much space.
Way up.
Space you're using in this container. Yeah. Now, I will say you need to use a reputable company and have some type of guarantee on how much it costs, coverage, insurance, all of that, of these items that you want to bring to wherever you're moving to.
And absolutely try to seek out people that have used those services. You know, you can look online for like reviews and whatnot, but you never really know. If you can get in contact with some people who actually use the services, find out like what their experience was. Because there are things they may not tell you until it happens. Like you may have issues in customs or something with your container. So you definitely want to get some firsthand experience, firsthand knowledge about the process, because it can be really expensive.
Yeah, because you never know. Custom, it gets, like he said, it gets to custom, and then there are additional problems, expenses that you did not account for, and then you have to say, "Oh, was it worth it?" Right. You know,
and depending on what you're shipping, it could be worth it. You know, we can't speak on that, but to that effect, like if you have a lot of valuable furniture that you don't want to get rid of, and appliances, a lot of that stuff can be purchased here. But if you want to bring it, just know that it's going to come at a premium. If you want to bring those items, it just depends on your lifestyle and if it's worth it to you. And if you got the money to do it, so be it.
No, if it's money is not an issue,
go right ahead.
Go right ahead. Now, let's just say if you have a budget and say you want to use a shipping container and your budget is $2,500 and you're bringing a few items like appliances, some furniture that really means a lot. You may have inherited from a family member and you just don't want to discard it, so you want to bring it with you. Let's say your budget's $2,500. You put the stuff on the shipping container. It gets to customs wherever you're going, and they're saying, "Oh, this is not allowed," or
it's going to cost you more.
It's going to cost you more. So now your budget now is increased. Just be prepared for that. Yeah. That's all we're saying. Just prepare yourself. If you're planning on spending $2,500, raise your budget to probably $6,000.
Yeah,
and honestly, if you don't need to use it,
don't even quote us on prices, because we have no idea. Honestly,
this is just a scenario.
Yeah, it's just a scenario that if that's your budget, if your budget is $2,500, you might want to say like she said, you know what, maybe my budget should be like $5,000 or $6,000. You have to think about it like that.
Yeah, for unexpected costs.
Right.
What we're saying is weigh your options on what it is that you want to let go and what things that you feel that you really have to keep.
As far as like keeping items, there are things that, like we already said, are more expensive here. But some of those things aren't so much more expensive that you can't just get them here and save the money on shipping. Now, if you don't have anyone to give that stuff to in the States, I can't speak on that, but there are things, like stuff like TVs and stuff like that. They're more expensive here, but it's not that much more expensive.
Now, we did find there are really some deals here. Yeah. It's just you have to look for them. They may not be in your big box stores. They may be in small shops in Central or outside of Central. You just have to look.
And they do Black Friday deals here. So.
Like I saw a 65-inch television was like $467.
Right.
I don't think that was bad.
No, it's not bad. It's not bad for here. You could definitely get it cheaper than that in the U.S. But for here, it's it's a decent price.
And it was a name brand. It was TCL.
Yeah.
They do have, I think, Insignia, TCL, LG.
Riviera or something like that. And then they got the Samsungs and Sonys. You can get all that stuff.
Right. What we're saying is, like, if you're in your mind, you want to start over. And sometimes when you're moving abroad, starting over means starting new. and sometimes reducing clutter, because we do sometimes have more clutter than we expect and things that we really don't need. You may need to declutter, and if moving abroad and you want to start afresh, start new. Start with, do I really, making a list, do I need all these things that I had before, and do I want to bring all that stuff with me? Make a list of what are the things you really need versus want.
The first thing you're going to try to do if you're moving to another country is, before you make a budget and all that, after you make a budget and everything, is figure out where you're going to live. And is that place already furnished? Does it have a lot of stuff you already need? Because then you might be bringing stuff for no reason. And then, because storage isn't a big, like here in Ecuador, storage isn't a big thing. Like, there's storage places all over the U.S., but not here.
There are some storage places.
There are some places, but it's not nearly as numerous as the U.S. Speaking on other countries, we're not really sure, how common it is to find furnished versus unfurnished. But that's really something you got to consider, because it is significantly cost effective, depending on where you're living, to get a furnished place so you don't have to purchase all these things. It's very important to know where you're going to be at and what you're going to need, because here's the thing, even if you do find a furnished place, some of the stuff that's in there, you might be like, oh man, I don't really like this. I'm going to find, a sofa or something that I can get here, not too expensive. Like, you can get one made if you want. And it's still going to be cheaper than shipping something here.
Yeah. So if you want to purchase furniture, you do have big box stores here that you can purchase from, or like Steve said, you can get custom made furniture here that can still be cost effective and cost less than what you would purchase in the States.
It is very common. Like, getting furniture made here is very common.
Now, if you decide to move in a condo, they do have some bodegas, which are a little small storage space, and it's not the type of storage space you would think you're going to get.
It's a closet.
They can be very small. I think it was similar to a closet. Not even the size of a wardrobe, but it was rather small.
Our walk-in closet in the U.S. was bigger than the bodega. We didn't even get to use a bodega at the condo that we had, but for most of the ones that we've seen, because we've seen a lot of units and we've been to a lot of buildings, the bodegas usually aren't that big. It's not like a full-size garage or anything like that.
No.
So, keep that in mind. The fewer items you bring, if you're moving abroad, the fewer things you bring with you, the better. I can't emphasize that enough. If there's something that you want to keep, but maybe don't want to bring right away, find a way to leave it, in the U.S. or somewhere until you can come back and get it.
Yeah, you may have to take several trips.
We did.
To bring stuff back. A friend of ours, H&D, from H&D Abroad, was in Cuenca, and Herman was asking about knives. You can find knives here. You more than likely, they will cost you a little bit more than what you would purchase in the U.S. You can bring knives in a check bag, of course. And if you have specific types of knives that you want to have, I would suggest bringing them with you and just check them in your bag. There are a lot of things, brands that I like. I may not find them here. So you can either have them shipped to you or you can bring them with you. And depending on how much it will cost in shipping, is it worth shipping it to you or just looking to purchase it here and pay that extra cost? So that's an option as well.
Yeah. We mentioned this already. Sometimes you get attached to certain things. If you're already willing to leave the United States, then you're probably willing to let go of some things. Now, we know for some people it's harder than others. Like, for me, it's easier than it is for LaShawn to let go of things. But you already have, like, the thought process in your head to be able to detach yourself from, a place or a thing. So think really hard and consider, like, what items you really are attached to. Are you just attached to it because you spent money on it, or is there a reason that you really need it? Because I know we had this discussion before we left. How much of this stuff that we're thinking about bringing with us do we actually need to bring with us? And is it actually important to our lives? What is it actually doing for us, other than the fact we just don't want to get rid of it because we spent money on it?
Because I think the last time we went back to bring stuff back with us, we were going through our suitcases and stuff that we had left at his mom's house and our son's house. And it got to a point like, I really don't want this. I don't need it.
We ended up bringing less back than we thought we were going to.
It wasn't something I actually needed. Now, I still have my cast iron skillet in the U.S., but I did purchase one here. They do sell those here. And there are a lot of things I can get here that I can still get in the U.S. And right now it's like, do I want to carry those things in a suitcase to bring back? And I decided,
and the more we fly, y'all, seriously, the less we want to have check bags.
Yeah, we've got down to a
carry
on.
We've got a carry on and a backpack.
Yeah, it's becoming a lot, especially with the cost of the airlines, how much you're paying for check bags and how smaller the carry-on bags are getting. Yeah. It's almost like they just want you to just bring yourself. Yeah. Don't bring anything else because they're charging for everything. Back to, like, say, items, clothing items. If you are like to make quilts out of some of those items that are special to you. You can do that. I've seen people take photos and copy them onto fabric.
Right.
So you can do that as well if those items really mean something to you. Or for me, I didn't bring a bunch of jewelry because I don't need all of that. And I just left that in the U.S. because what does that really mean to me? Having, all this jewelry to walk around for what?
What reason?
So it's not as important to me as it was when I was in the States.
There are certain things that you realize really aren't that important once you actually make the move. The hardest part is doing it, and then when you first get there, like, oh man, I need this. I wish I brought this. I wish I brought this. And after a while, that kind of goes away, and you say, like, I really don't need it. I can go get something else here that's around the same price and not have to take a bunch of space in a bag that I need to check at the airport. It's kind of a pain. And
your concept, your mindset starts to change.
Yeah.
Because you really start to evaluate the importance of, do I really need this or do I want it? When you start, because you can easily start to accumulate a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Just because if you go out a lot and you're around and you're shopping, you will accumulate more stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just a human nature of going out and just buying stuff, unnecessary stuff. And then when it's time to move, let's say you're renting and you decide you want to rent for a year. After that year, trust me, you're going to have way more stuff than when you started.
Yeah.
If you're doing a lot of shopping and saying, oh, I need this, because you want to replace a lot of the things you had in the U.S. And it's just that comfort zone of being able to go in the kitchen, go in the bedroom, in the bathroom, and have stuff the way you had it in the U.S. Right. You can definitely do that. Just understand that when you get ready to move, that's a lot of stuff to pack. Mm-hmm. And for me, I really hate packing and moving.
Yeah. Also, there are items that can be replaced with similar items. And what I mean by that is, like, you have to have like an Instapot or something like that. You mainly use it for pressure cooking. I don't
not necessarily.
Yeah, use
like
for
a crock pot.
Yeah, like a crock pot.
Yeah, a rice cooker. It's a lot of things.
Right. For us, what we ended up doing is because we didn't want we didn't have like a ton of counter space, right? Mm-hmm. So we didn't want another appliance that had to be plugged in
or sitting on the
counter. So what we did was we just bought the regular old school metal pressure cooker with the lids you just kind of pop open, and it just goes under the cabinet. And whenever we want to cook something that's going to take a while on the stove, use the pressure cooker. It cuts the time down. It's just as good, and without having to have an appliance sitting on the counter. Yeah.
But if that is something you want,
you can definitely get.
It's definitely available. Here.
Air fryers and all that.
Rice cookers, right. Air fryers, Instapots, pressure cookers. A lot of those items are here. What we're saying, you can purchase those items here. They are a little more expensive.
Yeah. You may see some brands you don't recognize.
Yeah.
But
they're pretty good. Like Indorama.
Yeah.
What was it? Indorama and Mabe.
Yeah.
Those are two
brands you see a lot.
Yeah. And it just depends. Hamilton Beach is very big here.
Yeah.
And I don't know why.
And Westinghouse.
Not as much. Hamilton Beach is bigger than Westinghouse and Betty Crocker. If you're big on Cuisinart, KitchenAid, just brand name items, some of those items are available. You can find them at Sukasa here in Cuenca. I think you can find some of them in Mega Maxi.
Yeah.
Mega Kiwi.
Somewhat Corral.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if those brands mean a lot to you, just know you're going to pay a higher cost.
Yeah.
Me personally, and Oster. Me personally, I know those brands, and I know those brands are well made, and so I will like not substitute.
Yeah, so if you want like a Samsung appliance, they're absolutely available here. They have whole Samsung stores. It's going to be a premium. It's the same quality you're going to get in the U.S., but you're going to pay a premium for it. So it depends on how much you want it.
So, like we said, if these items that you have in the U.S. are very endeared to you, you want to weigh the cost of shipping, bringing it with you, or letting go. Whatever works for you, make the decision, and just understand, because what we're saying is, if you're going to ship it, let it be items, furniture, appliances, if you're going to pay that kind of money. And I know, like, some people have pictures, artwork. Now, the walls are here, let's just say. Depending on where you move, the walls are concrete.
Yeah, you ain't just tapping a tack into a wall here.
Nailed either. You're drilling.
Yeah.
You have to drill screws into the wall. And depending on where you're staying, maybe your landlord
right.
do not want hose drip into the wall.
And you may be able to do like the 3M strips or whatever, command strips, stuff like that. But it's going to pull a little plaster off the wall when you take them off.
Well, you get the ones that
peel off. Yeah, you can get those too.
But understand, those command strips are not in big quantity here. You may get 4 or 5. And if you have a lot of artwork that you want to put on the walls, the cost can increase. So you have to weigh different things, and you need to look into where you're moving. Are you allowed to put holes in the walls?
And you're in an earthquake zone, so be mindful of things you put on your walls anyway.
There you have it. Just weigh the cost. And one other thing, what I was leading to, shipping. If you're shipping these items and it's costing you a lot to ship, is it worth shipping it or just purchase it and getting it here and pay less money for those items? Because you just compare, like, it's gonna cost you $10,000 to ship a few,
your house, whatever was remaining in your house,
and then get here and you may cut that cost in half, and you may only spend $5,000.
Right. To get all the same. Well, it may not be the same, but equivalent.
Or new things, because we said, start new, start
over,
start fresh.
But like we said, it depends on you. Whatever you want to do, it's up to you. If you got the money to pay for, the shipping, by all means, if that's the easier option. But do your research, please. Please do your research. Talk to people. Hopefully, that answers that question on letting go personal things if you decide to move abroad, and how much those things mean to you determines whether or not you're willing to bring them or let them go. Yeah.
Thank you for watching. Again, like, share, and subscribe, and we'll be back with more content. And we're going to continue to answer questions that we receive to the best of our ability based on our experience. And we're not saying this is what you should or shouldn't do. We're just giving you options.
Yeah. So once again, thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye.